Hello everyone and welcome to another video in this channel. My name is Abraham Leo and I'm back. I had a surprise live stream yesterday and I let everyone know that I was feeling a little bit under the weather for the last couple of days. I was sick. Actually, my whole family was sick. We had like some sort of like seasonal flu and we were just taking some days off to rest and recover. But we're back and there's a lot of things going on. So today I'm just going to do a quick video about a skill that I think everyone could benefit from, which is custom alphas inside of Zbrush, how to sculpt your own alpha and use it for your characters. So let's go. Now, before we start with this exercise, I just want to remind you guys that we have our ongoing creature contest that's going to be ending on the 28th of February. Tomorrow, I'm going to be updating a video about the specifications that we're going to be looking for and where to submit. So stay tuned for that one. There's a couple videos already on the channel if you go back to January where we did some examples of how to create your own creature. And of course, if you go back to December, we have a whole series on the minion creation. That's kind of like what we're going for. So make sure to check that one out. And if you want to learn a lot about 3D or anything about 3D, you can check our Skillshare Pro.
Hey guys, Abraham here. I just wanted to remind you guys that we upload all of our courses to Skillshare. Skillshare is this amazing site where you can access a ton of different content to learn, improve, and grow as an artist. We have all of our courses available to watch and learn from right now in Skillshare. You can check the description down here, and Skillshare is offering 1 free month trial to their premium membership. With this membership, you're going to be able to access all of our courses and watch and learn all of the amazing things that we cover with all of the softwares. So, what are you waiting for? Check Skillshare down here below.
So on the yesterday streams, which you can of course check it out on the channel, we were working on this guy right here, and we're pretty much done with it. We're now going into the detail stages, and I wanted to create a custom alpha of just like scales and stuff. So what I did here is I went to the lightbox, and I'm gonna go to the project options, and you can open this miscellaneous project. This is the same thing we did or we used for our displacement brush. And now if we go over here to this area, we can actually start sculpting. Let me just change this back to like no alpha or just like alpha 36. There we go. So we can start sculpting and we can create our own alpha. So I want to do this sort of like a wrinkly skin. And this is one of the techniques that I show on my like ZBrush courses, which is like the crisscross technique. Whenever you're doing the like any sort of like wrinkle, you don't want to have just like one straight wrinkle. It looks really awkward. You want to do kind of like a crisscross thing where the wrinkles kind of like blend into each other, creating a really interesting effect. Now, another thing that's really interesting about wrinkles is that they're actually not just like pushing skin in. Wrinkles are the like you lose elasticity on the skin. So yes, you're gonna get dips, but you're also gonna get some like positive volumes here. So I'm gonna change to clay buildup and a round alpha. And I'm gonna start adding this thing right here. Now I'm working on a plane because what we're gonna eventually be doing is we're gonna be extracting the height information from this thing and converting it into an alpha so that we can use it and replicate it on our frog character. So we just like do some interesting things. Oh, careful here. I pressed the undo history. You can just do these things right here. Add some volumes in different places. These wrinkles, I kind of want them to be on like the main masses of the element. We can of course do a very soft smooth right here. And I was doing a little bit of research about frogs, and they tend to have like this sort of like bumpy skin as well. So we can start adding a little bit of this like bumpy skin on the elements. There we go. Like try to make this as natural looking as possible. We don't want. Oh, let me move my microphone. There we go. So try to make this as natural looking as possible. We don't want this to look like fake or anything. So don't make it too obvious where we're adding this sort of elements. Go. And of course, we fade them out a little bit. We don't want this detail to be extremely intense. We can keep it smooth. Let's go back to the main standard. Let's add some like small little wrinkles on the side here. Maybe some on the side right here. Another one up here. We can smooth this out. Now, I'm doing this on a fast way, right? Like we're kind of like speed running this. But if you're creating your own like custom alphas, you should definitely take time to make sure the sculpting looks as nice as possible. But there we go. We have something that looks quite nice. It's a nice little detail. So imagine having to repeat this detail everywhere on the frog right here. It would be really, really time consuming. So that's why we make alphas, to make our lives a little bit easier. Now that we have something that we like, I'm gonna try to center this on the screen right here. Something like this. And if you go to the alpha palette, you can use this option called grab doc. And grab doc will literally grab the information from the document, as you can see right here. Now, if we go to the frog, and we use something like the standard brush, the drag rect, and this grab right here, we can pretty much like project the sculptures on top of our element. So we've successfully created an alpha that should allow us to save quite a bit of time. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to do with this alpha, of course, and that is to tweak it up a little bit. Oh my god. Sneezes are back. We want to tweak it up a little bit so that we can like deploy it here on the character a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to go to the alpha menu and I'm going to invert it, okay? Because I want this to be wrinkles, not like heels. So we're going to do this thing called inverse, and that will switch this to black and white. And as you can see, now we have this right here. The other problem that we have is that we are getting some like weird like fade effect. You can see that this alpha is not as square as it should be. So if we go to the alpha, we can actually modify it. And there's this thing called the radial of fade. So I'm gonna use a little bit of radial fade, as you can see right there. And now we're gonna get this sort of like soft effect on the element. And now when we project it, we should be getting rid of some of the elements right there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, of course, with DC intensity, we can lower the intensity right here, and we can start playing around and positioning this in certain areas of the character, like probably not everywhere. For instance, actually, now that I think of it, it's reversed. So let's flip it again. There we go. That's what we're going for. So I'm gonna use this to populate a couple of areas here on top of like the legs and stuff. And by doing this process, as you can see, we can get a really interesting textures that would take quite a bit of time to do manually. Of course, we can smooth out and fade out some of the elements and just get like a really interesting and simple texture. This is a very like quick and efficient way to create your own custom alphas and use them to like populate your whole character. Like look at how nice like those fibers right there we're getting. So if we gonna create like that stretchiness on the muscle, just add a couple of them right there, and then the negative side as well, and then we smooth them out a little bit. Get this very nice fibery look. Layering in organic characters is very important, and by layering these elements, we can get some really interesting effects. And by combining this, what we saw the last time we had a video of this guy, which was the vector displacement brushes, you should be able to get something that looks really interesting. Now, let me show you another like very cool trick here. You can change the stroke to spray, and this, as you can see, will give us a cross-hatching technique. And if you have a custom alpha like what I have right there, as you can see here, we can generate a really interesting texture that's going to be really unique to your character because you created this texture from scratch, right? So no one else on the internet is going to have this sort of effect. So yeah, you can of course do this negatively. And another thing you can even do is actually no, that's what well, I was gonna say you could also change the spray, but then that would be a different alpha brush. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, just a very quick way. I'm gonna use my brush. I was using my mouse here. So I'm gonna use my brush in this sort of like a random patterns or round patterns. And as you can see, this is gonna give me this sort of like leathery skin look. Now, if your smooth brush is too strong, which tends to be the case, if the smooth brush is too strong, one of the things that we can do, lighter, one of the things that we can do is we can press shift and lower the intensity of the smooth as well. And that's also going to allow you to have a smoother effect. Now, remember, when we're doing this sort of things, when we're doing the final details or the texturing details, you don't want to overdo it. It should be built upon all of the other things that you did. Look at that. Very cool looking pattern. It should be like, again, it should be working with all of the textures that you already did on your character. So for instance, here on the rib cage, if I want to have like a more intense effect, I would definitely go here and I would manually like create the gaps here. Like there will be some wrinkles on your character that are gonna need a little bit more like manual work than others. The high frequency detail, the detail that we're adding with the alpha channel, that's not something that you want to have like done automatically. That should be something that you do by yourself. So for instance, here, Add like the abdominal muscles, like an indication of the abdominal muscles. My Damien standard. Kind of like fade them in right there. Now, these characters are amphibians, right? So they would not have a navel. They don't have an umbilical cord. They're born from eggs, right? I'm not a biologist, but I'm pretty sure. Soften some of the details there. Clay buildup is an excellent way to soften things up, because we can just very softly feel the elements without losing the form. There we go. For instance, for the lips, again, we'll be a little bit more aggressive here with our Debian standard and create sort of like a wrinkly effect on the lips. Push the lips right there. I really want to have like a slightly different texture on this area. This crisscrossing and hatching. That's how we build like our high frequency details. So by utilizing alphas that we get online, alphas that we make ourselves, or just manually creating all of these elements, we're gonna be able to create something that looks really, really interesting. Of course, I'm gonna, again, with clay buildup, soften up the transition there, fill up a little bit of the gaps. How nice this character is looking. Someone was asking if we were gonna be like UVing and texturing this guy. Not really. However, if you're doing like the whimsical character, this could be a very good process. You should be pretty much done with your sculpting and modeling by now, because we're getting really really close on the deadlines. But this could be a whimsical creature, funny magical creature, a little bit of train dynamic to flatten some of these elements. And there we go. We're going to be doing this for 3D prints. So if you want to see how we prepare this for 3D printing, make sure to tune in next Monday at 9 a.m. Mexico time, or 8:30 p.m. India time, so that you can see the whole process. We're going to be doing that during the live stream. We're going to be preparing him. And as soon as I get my next shipment of resin, which should be coming really soon, I'll 3D print this guy as well, so that we can see it in all its glory. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'm back, as I mentioned. I'm a little bit feeling a little bit better, so we're gonna keep on working on more stuff. Tomorrow we'll do a video about the Japanese. I think we're gonna do the Japanese environment that we were working on, or we'll do I have a couple of other activities planned out. So yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you want to see here on the channel, guys. You remember, your feedback is always appreciated, and it's always super useful for us to know what else to be working on. I'm working on the next course, which is going to be releasing next week, which is an advanced modeling course for Maya. Some of you already saw the sneak peek of the concept art. We showcased it on the live stream if you want to check it out. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.